Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal. The SEBI has introduced a regulatory framework for execution-only platforms in the mutual fund industry. Now, these platforms are now required to be registered and are prohibited from offering regular plans. So what exactly are these execution-only platforms and how will the SEBI's latest guidelines affect mutual fund investors? Let's welcome on board Pankaj Matpal, MD, Optima Money Managers, and answer these questions. Pankaj, good evening. Welcome to the show. So let's just simplify this. What are exactly execution-only platforms that we are talking about?
Kavita, good evening. Before I explain this execution-only platform, I'll tell you why the need has arisen for this.
Sure.
And see, there are many stockbrokers and registered investment advisors who run such a digital platform where investors can complete their financial transactions related to mutual funds. So not only buying, selling on mutual funds, but also they can complete non-financial transactions. Now, if they are their customers, for example, if there's a registered investment advisor and his or her customers wants to complete transaction, then it is fine because these RIAs are registered with SEBI and they have some responsibilities. Investors have some responsibilities towards their RIAs. But because those investors who are not registered or who are not customers of these intermediaries, they can also complete transactions. So they may find it very convenient, but if there is any risk associated with these transactions, then nobody will be responsible. But ultimately, these investors are not clients of those intermediaries. So considering this risk, SEBI has introduced this education-only platform where these platforms will provide this service. Investors can complete their education on this, but these platforms will not provide regular plan. These investors can invest only in direct plans, and because there will be a framework, there will be regulation for these education-only platforms. So any risk associated with these transactions, either the stock exchanges or the SEBI will take care of that.
Pankaj, does this also mean that now the cost for an investor will go up because these platforms were offering this service for free along with the advice? So now the customers will have to pay. So eventually investors, it's an expensive thing for them?
Kavita, see, there are two categories, category 1 and category 2.
Okay.
The category 1 entities have to be registered with MP. There means the cost will be borne by fund houses, means AMCs. So it will not impact investors' cost. And also it is mentioned that fund houses cannot charge this cost in the scheme. So ultimately means there is no impact on the investors. But when we talk about the category 2, where these categories have to act as a stockbroker or they have to register with stock exchanges. So they will charge some flat fees. And this flat fees will be charged from investors. So in this case, definitely the cost of the investor will increase. That is one part. Second thing, as you said, that right now these platforms are also providing advice. In such case, an investor is not going to any distributor or to an advisor, and directly they are taking some advice online through this platform, or which are called rope advisory, basically. So they get some advice automatically on the website itself, and then they go for execution. That cannot happen now because these execution-only platform will provide only execution, no advice. So in that sense, yes, if investors, they also want some advice, then they have to go to registered investment advisor, or they have to go to mutual fund distributors. So if they go to mutual fund distributors, in that case, they will buy regular plan. That is altogether different chapter. But if they go to registered investment advisor, then in that case, definitely the cost will increase. They will have to pay the fees to the RIA, as well as means they may have to bear this cost as well.
So if the EOP registered with AMFI, they can charge a certain amount which obviously will not be uniform. But if you are going through a stockbroker EOP, then that will have a fixed charge across the board, right?
That's right.
Okay. All right. So that's all about execution only platform. So then, last question again. What should investors actually do, and how can they also identify which EOP is registered or not? Will that be obvious on the platform whenever you go to buy or take advisory from any platform?
The advisory they will not take from the platform.
Yeah.
That is because education only platforms are will be available. So 1st September, once these are operational, definitely it will be mentioned there. And when we're talking about the stock brokers platform, they definitely like the Zerodha or some other entities means they will have this kind of platform. I believe, example I'm quoting, not like such brokers. They will have these platforms. So the investors who are investing through the brokers, they may opt for this. Otherwise, for other investors, it will be better. I believe that they will go for the entities which are registered with MP, because they do not need to pay anything for that. As I mentioned earlier, the cost will be borne by the AMCs. So that may be a good choice for them, for the investors who do not want advice, and or they take advice from the
Plans won't become expensive,
RIAs,
no?
and
So,
then they go for
so
the
Pankaj,
execution
the direct plans won't become expensive, right? Or that is a concern.
Yeah, not at all, because as I said, the cost will be borne by the AMCs.
Right.
And we cannot add it to the schemes.
Okay.
They will not add.
All right. So that was all about execution only platform and how it will impact you as an investor. Let's move on, and we have our viewers on the phone line with us who are waiting to ask their mutual fund queries. I have Mr. Gopiraj online with me. Hi, good evening. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much for sending us your query. I believe you have ICICI Pro Large and Mid Cap, L&T Mid Cap, Sundaram Consumption Fund on you, and you want to continue investment for next 10 to 12 years, and you've been investing since 2018. What's the SIP amount?
See, earlier it was 5,000 rupees from when I started it, but then right now it's monthly 10,000 rupees is what I'm doing in the 3 funds. So 10,000, 10,000, 10,000.
Okay. And these are regular plans?
Yes.
Okay. You have also started investing through direct plans in other funds from Jan 2023, or you've switched from these regular funds to a direct scheme?
No. My query is that because I have been there in the regular plan, this was basically from, the friendly neighborhood uncles, they give you that. But at that time, my knowledge about mutual funds was very little.
Got it.
So I started with the regular plan.
Okay.
Now, even in the regular plan, my corpus has been built to a good level, and I'm sitting on a good profit also.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the amount, the corpus amount is increasing, the charges are higher on the regular plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what I started doing on my own was that from 2023, on the same schemes, I have started going into the direct plan.
Sure. Okay.
Now, what my question is that the amount that is there in the regular plan, is it a good idea to sit there and then the new SIPs in the direct plans, let them continue for the next 10 to 12 years?
All right. Pankaj, I think he's already opted for a good strategy. What will you say?
Gopiraj, say, if you're not availing any service from your distributor and you're not taking advice, in that case, even you can redeem your units and reinvest that. As you mentioned that you are in profit, so you are reinvesting that profit as well as your principal amount. So it will not make any difference whether you stay invested there or you redeem and reinvest. The benefit is that you will save some cost. As you know, and you mentioned it, that in regular plan, there is little extra cost is involved. So you can save that. So you don't need to worry about this thing that because you have profit. So if you again switch or reinvest it, so whether you lose the profit, no. So you can definitely redeem it and reinvest it. So that is one part. Second thing about SIP, as you have already started in direct plan, you can continue. But yes, I will tell you something about your portfolio. See, had it been like schemes are good, then you could continue. But in your case, I suggest you should make some changes in your portfolio. The reason is, first thing, that HSBC mid cap fund, it has a very aggressive portfolio. So if you're thinking about 10 to 12 years, better you should go to a fund which is well diversified, has a better portfolio. See, this kind of schemes may outperform the other schemes during a particular period. But for a long term, I believe that the scheme should be able to generate alpha. So with a limited risk, higher returns should be available. That should be the strategy. Second thing about Sundaram Consumption Fund. See, this is a thematic fund. As of now, at this moment, I will say that consumption is a very good theme. But still, one thing for long term, always diversified funds are better. But if you want to stick to a consumption fund, so instead of Sundaram Consumption, I will suggest that, like example, SBI Consumption Opportunity Fund. That will be a better choice. So if you are redeeming your units and want to reinvest, so reinvest in these schemes. Like I said, SBI Consumption, and in mid cap, you can consider Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund. So you can redeem and reinvest in these schemes.
Gopiraj, anything else that you want to understand or ask Pankaj?
That's about it, madam. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All the best. We move on. We have Sunil Kumar Singh from Jharkhand. नमस्कार सुनील, कैसे हैं आप?
नमस्कार, मैं ठीक हूँ मैडम, आप कैसे हैं?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, धन्यवाद। अपना सवाल आपने हमें भेजा। आपने 2 लार्ज और मिड कैप फंड पोर्टफोलियो में रखे हैं सुनील, टाटा का और आईसीआईसीआई का। कोई खास वजह? दोनों ही एक ही कैटेगरी के फंड रखे हैं। क्या आपको दोनों फंड्स के एलोकेशन में, एक्सपोजर में कोई बदलाव, डिफरेंस लगता है?
नहीं, ऐसे तो टाटा पर बिलीव था, मगर आईसीआईसीआई भी अच्छी थी। हमने सोचा कि एक ना काम करे तो दूसरा काम कर जाए।
अच्छा।
इसलिए थोड़ा सा उस जानकारी के लिए मैं टाटा को थोड़ा ज्यादा ही विश्वास, क्योंकि हमारे पास टाटा की कंपनी है।
अच्छा 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 अच्छा।
हाँ, अगर इसमें चूज हो तो इसको चेंज करने की सलाह है तो कर सकता हूँ मैं।
बिल्कुल बताएंगे आपको। इसके अलावा एबीएसएल का फ्लेक्सी कैप भी लिया है और एसबीआई स्मॉल कैप भी लिया है। एबीएसएल का फ्लेक्सी कैप तो परफॉर्म ही नहीं कर रहा है सुनील, क्यों लिया आपने? कब लिए हैं ये सारे फंड्स?
ये 3 साल हो गए।
3 साल हो गए। चलिए, कब तक रहेंगे इसमें आप इन्वेस्टेड?
कम से कम 10 साल।
कम से कम 10 साल ना? कोई लक्ष्य को बांधा है इन फंड्स के तहत, इस पोर्टफोलियो के तहत?
कम से कम हमें लक्ष्य को बांधा था कि कम से कम 50 लाख हो जाए हमारे बच्चे के एजुकेशन के लिए।
निवेश बढ़ा पाएंगे ना?
हाँ, निवेश तो बढ़ा पाऊंगा।
ठीक है, अच्छा लगा आपका सवाल जानकर। पंकज, व्हाट विल बी द सॉल्यूशन फॉर सुनील?
सुनील, देखिए, पहली बात तो स्कीम को लेकर, जैसा अभी कविता जी ने कहा कि आपके पास जो आदित्य बिरला सन लाइफ फ्लेक्सी कैप फंड है, इसकी परफॉर्मेंस काफी खराब रही है, तो शायद आपको पहले निकल जाना चाहिए था। बट अब जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि स्कीम के पोर्टफोलियो में कुछ बदलाव किए गए हैं। सेकंड थिंग ये है कि कुछ टाइम से वैल्यू अप्रोच जो है इन्वेस्टमेंट की, वो ज्यादा अच्छा काम कर रही थी। बट अभी आप देखेंगे तो कुछ टाइम से हमने देखा है, पिछले कुछ समय में ग्रोथ ओरिएंटेड फंड्स ने बेटर परफॉर्म करना स्टार्ट किया है। इस फंड की जो इन्वेस्टमेंट अप्रोच है वो ग्रोथ ओरिएंटेड है। सो आई सजेस्ट दैट यू शुड स्टिक टू दिस आल्सो, एंड अदर स्कीम्स आर आल्सो गुड इन योर पोर्टफोलियो, तो यू शुड स्टे इन्वेस्टेड। तो स्कीम में तो बदलाव की जरूरत आपको नहीं है। बट लेकिन जैसा आपने कहा कि आपका जो टारगेट है उसको लेकर थोड़ा सा आपको इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ाना पड़ेगा। आप यदि जितना भी इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं 13,000 पर मंथ, with this you can expect 29 lakhs in 10 years. But because you want to accumulate 50 lakh rupees, so you should increase your investment. अभी मतलब immediately आपको 2,000 रुपीज से तो अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ा देना चाहिए। अगर आप 13 कर रहे हैं तो इसको 15,000 पर मंथ कर दीजिए, और उसके बाद एवरी ईयर 10% से आप इसे स्टेप अप कर लीजिए, ताकि जो आपका गोल है 50 लाख का वो आप अचीव कर पाएंगे 10 इयर्स में, यदि 12% या 12% का CAGR आपको यहाँ पर मिलता है, which I expect in 10 years you will get it. So all the best to you. स्कीम में पोर्टफोलियो बदलाव की जरूरत नहीं है, बट अमाउंट आपको बढ़ाना पड़ेगा।
सुनील जी, सलाह समझ गए? कुछ और पूछना है पंकज जी को?
नहीं, किस फंड में बढ़ाना पड़ेगा? SBI में कि टाटा में कि ICICI में, किस में बढ़ाना पड़ेगा?
Yes. आपका क्योंकि 10 ईयर का होराइजन है, तो मैं आपको नहीं कहूंगा कि स्मॉल कैप में ज्यादा बढ़ाइए। आपने 2000 किया हुआ है, उसमें भी आप वैसे 1000 और बढ़ा लीजिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। और बाकी जो है वो ICI से पोटेंशियल लार्ज एंड मिड कैप में बढ़ा लीजिए आप।
धन्यवाद सुनील, अपना सवाल हमें भेजा. All right, so we move on. We will take Ramesh's question now. All right, so this question is via email, and he's investing 1,500 in Nippon India 50 Index Fund from last 1 year, and he wants to understand if he can continue his investment in this fund. Pankaj.
Yes. See, in index fund, when we invest, we should expect returns as the index can give. So, because all index fund will mimic the portfolio of index only to which they track. In this case, when you're talking about Nippon India Index 50 Nifty 50 fund, so it's a large cap index which invests in 50 top companies. So he can definitely continue it, but for long term, I'll suggest that Ramesh should add one mid cap fund to his portfolio if he wants to increase amount or he wants to invest a fund, and that will be a passive, that will be an active fund. Because in large cap, investing in a passive fund is a good choice. But when it comes to mid cap or small cap fund, my suggestion will be that Ramesh or any other investor should add actively managed fund in their portfolio. And scheme name also can suggest here. Again, in mid cap fund, Motilal Oswal mid cap fund is a good fund and a fund of my choice. So you can consider it if you want to add.
Pankaj, with that, thank you so much for being on the show and helping our viewers with their financial portfolio queries.